times bigger than the Earth on the outer reaches of the solar system.
No.
Planet 9 is thought to be similar to Uranus and Neptune, but it has not yet been seen directly. Well, these are the 8 planets that we know. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune. For 76 years, Pluto was also considered to be a planet, but in 2006 it was controversially reclassified as a dwarf planet. But now scientists have discovered evidence of a hidden planet that is 10 times bigger than Earth in the outer reaches of the solar system. This new 9th planet is 60 billion miles away from the Sun. That's 20 times further than Neptune.
They're telling lies.
So far that it takes around 3.5 days for the Sun's light to reach it. Because of its far-flung location, experts think Planet 9 could take up to 20,000 years to make a single journey around the Sun.
Takes 3,600 years.
We speak now to the astrophysicist, Dr. David Brown, who's at the University of Warwick. He joins us now live from Coventry. A very good afternoon to you. How excited are you by this suggestion of a Planet 9?
Good afternoon. I'm cautiously excited by this, actually. If this is indeed another planet in the solar system, it's a very, very important discovery, a very big discovery, and it could change.
They've known for years, the liars.
Of our solar system and where we place it compared to the other systems of planets that we know of out in the galaxy.
Well, let's explore that a little bit more then, because when you do find something quite as big as this knocking around in your solar system, I guess it does raise questions about what else we don't know about. So what do you think the implications would be if this was definitively proved to be there?
I think that it's going to be very hard to find it and definitively prove its existence. There is an ongoing search, certainly. I'm not sure what it would say about other bodies in the solar system. As you move further away from the Sun, it becomes much harder to find these objects, even something as big as this possible planet. And so finding anything further out that's going to be this big again, I think would be, with current technology, almost impossible. But certainly this opens up the possibility that there are other planets in the system that we haven't found yet.
And you talk about the difficulty of establishing whether or not it definitively is there, but how do we know what we do know? How do you find a planet like this?
Sure, it comes back to actually the way that Neptune was found. So Neptune was discovered by looking at the orbit of Uranus and then looking at how that was slightly different compared to what we expected based on what we knew about gravity. So Pluto is the edge of what's called the Kuiper Belt. It's a group of small objects at the far edges of the solar system, and there's a group of around 6 of these objects that have very strange orbits that all line up together. They have very similar shapes, very similar lengths, and they all point in the same direction. And the only way that this can really happen is if there is something very large with sufficient gravity to pull these orbits and line them up like that. As a side effect, this big object also creates some Kuiper Belt objects, some small objects out there that have orbits that are at right angles to everything else in the solar system. And we've also found 1 or 2 of these, and so this combination of unusual orbits that suggests there is something big, something that's pulling on them with the strength of its own gravity that we haven't yet found.
Look
Something
at the lights.
very big. I think it's 10 times the size of Earth, the suggestion, 10 times bigger than Earth. Also 60 billion miles away from the Sun. Is it possible to guess at what it's like on this planet, given that distance from the Sun?
You can make some assumptions about the amount of light it's going to be receiving from the Sun, but it's almost impossible to get an idea of what it looks like. Based on its mass, as you said, 10 times the Earth, we can put it somewhere similar to a small Uranus or a small Neptune, so maybe an icy planet, but it could also be a giant-sized version of the Earth, so a big rocky planet. These planets are actually the most common type that we've found in the Milky Way outside the solar system, and so it's always been a bit unusual that we haven't found one, or we don't have one in the solar system. So this Planet 9 actually, in some ways, brings the solar system closer to the other planets that we found.
Fascinating stuff. Dr. David Brown, thanks very much indeed for talking to us about it.
Thank you.
Seek
bigger than the Earth on the outer reaches of the solar system.
No.
Planet 9 is thought to be similar to Uranus and Neptune, but it has not yet been seen directly. Well, these are the 8 planets that we know. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus and Neptune. For 76 years, Pluto was also considered to be a planet, but in 2006 it was controversially reclassified as a dwarf planet. But now scientists have discovered evidence of a hidden planet that is 10 times bigger than Earth in the outer reaches of the solar system. This new 9th planet is 60 billion miles away from the Sun. That's 20